So why you wouldn't file a one-step is if you're married to a permanent resident, right, and you don't have, like, you have to wait for your priority date to become available. So that's one. Also, it could be that you're ineligible for a green card because of criminal issues or something called the permanent bar, which is entries and exits. But in VAWA, even if you have entries and exits, you can still qualify for adjustment, but you have to tie the entries and exits to the abuse.
Correct.
So why don't you tell them about that? Like, what does that look like if someone has a permanent bar in VAWA, but they can still adjust? Like, what do we look for there?
So in regards to
like tying the entries and the exits to the abuse.
So so the main thing would be obviously for the entries and exits of when you enter the United States, you entered without sort of permission, you were here for over a year, and then you decided to depart the United States and then thereafter re-entered. That's what we call the permanent bar. So if you basically the main thing would be to check if that happened during the time that you were even in this marriage. Because sometimes, unfortunately, those perm bar and admissibility issues happen prior to the marriage. But if they happened afterwards or during the marriage, then also it kind of understanding why did you depart? So we've had situations where like the spouses have actually taken them to, Mexico, their native country, and then thereafter like make them come back in. So they're just doing what their abuser is forcing them to do. So we got to be able to explain that, and like wanted them to have the child over there for whatever reason. We've had a couple of those, unfortunately, that it was out of their hands. So that's something that we can be able to prove that, why the perm bar exists, not because they wanted it, but because their abuser was kind of forcing them to do it. So that's one of the things we look at. The other thing is with VAWAs, there's different types of, waivers, and that's a whole other thing too, that maybe with the criminal issues or other issues, if there's any fraud or things like that we can also include a waiver sometimes. So it just kind of depends. So if that's your situation, I would just tell you, definitely speak to an attorney, because it's definitely a case-by-case basis. And that way we can kind of see, what transpired and ask all those follow-up questions, because sometimes we've had clients that they've been told one thing and then they come to us and we're able to like really dig in and figure out like when those happen, because dates are really important. So,
and we're always looking for the way to get you all the way to the green card if we can. We're gonna work for that. But if you can't, we're gonna tell you that too. Like, you can always count on us to be honest with you, because we're not gonna be one of those firms that's like, yeah, sure, we'll file it, knowing it's not winnable. We file winnable cases. We'll do Hail Marys when people are in removal. That's the Hail Mary, genre.